Hey everybody, it's Tim with Uniform Members for Christ, and I'm coming to you today. We were actually out doing some work at a friend's house, and I just had this word come to me of encouragement for you. So, most of you have probably heard the biblical word prophecy, but what you may not know is that there's more to it than just colorful, flowery language. Some of you probably think that prophecy is a prediction fulfillment. Some of you think about it as biblical prophecy, what God has prophesied through prophets in the Old Testament, and we see a fulfillment in the New Testament. Some of you might see it as pattern, and some of you might look at modern day prophecy as just teaching and instruction. All of those are accurate in their context biblically, but all of them, remember, are accurate, and they're still modern and they're still relevant. 1 Corinthians 14 deals with this. The Apostle Paul is writing a letter to the Corinthians, and apparently they were eager for spiritual gifts. And so 1 Corinthians 14 says this: pursue love and eagerly desire the spiritual gifts, especially that you may prophesy. Verse 2 says, for one who speaks in tongues speaks not to men but to God, for no one understands him, but he utters mysteries in the Spirit. Verse 3 is what I really want to key in on. On the other hand, the one who prophesies speaks to the people for their upbuilding, for their encouragement, and for their consolation. Okay, those are some big words, but I want you to notice that there's three aspects of a supernatural prophecy, and we're going to break them down for you real quick. The first one I want to touch on is what's called edification. I grew up with the King James, okay, so I'm going to use the words I'm more familiar with. But this is edification. It means the act of building up, okay? It means one who promotes another's growth in Christianity in the areas of wisdom, piety, happiness, and holiness. Okay, so edification, I'm building you up. Let's look at exhortation. Now, this is an edge that I bet many of you have not received during prophecy. All right, and this, I really want to key in on this. Prophecy is a supplication and in entreaty. It means to admonish. It means, in some instances, consolation, comfort, solace. But it means here persuasive discourse or a stirring address. Okay, now I've got a very special surprise for you today, and we're actually going to show you a visual example of how these work. But just notice so far, there's one that builds up, but there's another one that admonishes. And then the third is a comfort, okay? And it means any address, whether made for the purpose of persuading, or of arousing and stimulating, or calming and consoling. So you notice it doesn't have to be all three of those aspects. You can have one of them, you can have two of them, you can have three of them. But the point is that there's not always going to be just comfort. There's not always just going to be edification. It's not always just going to be exhortation. If you only ever received exhortation when somebody was giving you an address, a prophetic address, then you would all the time be thinking, I'm missing the mark, okay? If it was only always comfort, then you would always think, yeah, I'm doing everything right. And so you really need a balance of the three, preferably all three in the same message if possible, but there's different aspects of it. Remember, it's not that person that's speaking to you. If it's a spiritual gift, the Bible says the Spirit of God gives those to whom He wills, which means that gift is being used for your benefit from your Father in heaven to build you up or correct you or something else. Now, I told you I had a very special surprise for you today, and I'm going to show you what that is right now. My special surprise is my beautiful wife. My finger is all in a picture. My beautiful wife, Lisa, and she's going to give you, she might have a word on this to encourage you with, but she's going to give you an example of a practical example.
Yeah, the Lord kind of gives me visuals to help me understand Scripture, especially when it's a little bit complex sometimes. So since we're here doing manual labor type stuff, that's what He used to give me some visuals for this. So I believe the first word is edification.
Sure, edification.
Okay, so edification might be, I'm doing a job, but maybe there's a better way to do it. Maybe I'm not using the right tool for the job. Maybe a plier isn't the best way to get this screw in its hole. So edification would be if you came and brought me a screwdriver.
What she's not telling you is that we actually had to use pliers earlier because there was a head on this screw not this one, but the one we took out that we didn't have with us. So the pliers did get the job done, but like she just said, they were not the most effective tool for the job.
You've got my screwdriver.
I might have the screwdriver, and if I do, forgive the camera shaking all over the place here.
Oh, I've got the screwdriver.
She's got the screwdriver, okay.
I'm going to edify myself here. So a screwdriver obviously is the best tool for this job. Now, the next word is exhortation.
Exhortation, yep.
So this might be, I don't have the right tool for this job whatsoever. And so this would require some instruction, maybe some letting me know that I'm wrong in an area, and that if I want to accomplish the task, this is not the tool that I need to do this. And so that it can be a challenge though if I think I know what I'm doing and someone comes to me and says, hey, there's a better way. The last word is comfort, and this might mean I'm doing the job, I even have the right tool, so maybe this is a hey, way to go, but maybe the screw is really hard and I'm struggling to even get it in, but you come along and say, don't give up, just keep going, and you're gonna get that screw all the way in the hole. So that would be comfort.
Well, that was absolutely excellent. I think she just made that so much clearer for me, especially on the last bit there with comfort. So Lisa, why don't you close us out? That way we don't have to flip the camera around again.
Thanks for joining us.
All
Have
right.
a good day, y'all.
All right, everybody. Happy weekend.